Yes, guys, welcome along to another episode of the Ghostoul Podcast. I hope you didn't miss me too much. It's been a couple of weeks since I've been on. I've calmed down. I'm all chilled, and it's all good. We have a guest. Woohoo! The couple that I have tonight are very, very good friends of mine. Worked with them before. Awesome people. Just going to bring them on. We have Nando and Sarah from Portal to the Paranormal.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
You all good?
Yeah, we're really good. Thank you for inviting us on.
Really excited. Thank you.
It is a bit weird though, I've got to be honest. Whenever I get invited on, it's weird because I'm usually the one ready with all the questions and I know which way the podcast is going to go. So now
I have no control.
Sitting on the other chair is a bit weird.
The tables have turned.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good. I remember going on, I think it was your show. Is it when I was supposed to be on with Sarah and what's the other lady you used to do it with?
Oh,
Rosie.
Rosie, yeah. I was on your show very, very long time ago.
Yeah.
And then we follow up. Me and you did a follow up together.
Yes.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's but like I said, it's just weird being on the other side of the table now and anticipating what kind of questions are going to be asked in that. Yeah.
All the goodies.
Yeah.
So we have a couple of people leaving comments so far. Tracy, good morning, Tracy. She's in Australia.
Hey, Tracy.
Good day.
Nice to see you back. Good day, mate. Emily, Paranormal is here. Hi, guys. Watching you from hospital. I hope everything is improving.
Hope you're doing well.
Yeah. Hopefully it gets better soon. But yes, guys. So if anyone else would like to leave questions, comments as we go along, we'll be reading them out as we go. So for those people that are watching that don't necessarily know who you guys are, could you just give us a little rundown? That'd be great.
So we're part of Portal to the Paranormal. So Dan created Portal to the Paranormal just during COVID. Like he come up with the idea of creating his own team, which was great. Initially, Sarah was doing this way before me getting involved.
I think I started,
because you used to do it with Paranormal Adventures.
Yeah, I did, yeah. We run events all over the country, don't we? We take members of the public, they get to use the equipment, we split into small teams, and then we go and do the experiments. So the members of the public get to use the equipment and create their, try and experiment for themselves, and and they
just trying to educate
themselves, don't they?
I think what the team like to do is educate people on how they can investigate and show them different techniques, because we do feel that every technique, every experiment has a place in the paranormal.
The Victorian methods and the new ones, don't.
And it's finding people's comfort zone on how they want to investigate.
And do it respectfully as well.
Because it's very subjective. There's a lot of different techniques. There's a lot of different ways, and I don't feel that there's a right and wrong way, because it's all experiment based
and learning.
And then through that, we started doing the podcast, and and for me, that's been where I've sort of thrived in. Like I really enjoy doing the podcast, getting to speak to so many different people about their experience, about what they think is good, and the whole point of the podcast is really just showing that people can get on with each other from different backgrounds. It doesn't have to be as competitive as others make it to be.
It's sharing experience as well, and having a lot of fun doing it. And being terrified as well.
Yeah, that's great. So Ruben's in the house. Here, my mate Kaylin just subscribed. Awesome. Thank you so much. So if we start with a podcast, how long have you been doing the podcast now?
So the podcast started, again, it was something that just started in the COVID period when we were in lockdown. And
Richard, Lyle,
Sarah just randomly messaged someone saying, look, we're trying to do something to, bring the community together in a way. Everyone's in lockdown. We want to create some positive space for people, because it was very difficult, and living with me 24/7 without being able to go out, that's a hardship for for some people.
I have to say his name correctly because I get upset if he's watching. Richard Lillard. He was very artistic. I think he was on an episode of Ghost Adventures because he's like a psychic witch and psychic medium. And I remember I found him because I was looking on Facebook and he was into satanic stuff. He decorates all his house and that, and I was like mesmerized by all his gothic kind of feel. And I commented, and then I realised who he was, and I asked him, "Do you mind doing a podcast with me and just talk about all the things that you're into, the paranormal?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'd love to, darling." So that's where it started. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just sort of like you get that first, taste of speaking to someone. And then we're like, well, who else can we bring on? Who else can we learn from? And it's just gone from there. And through it, we have spoken to so many amazing people. And the podcast for me is a place where you can create great connections with people and become friends. Because we speak to a lot of people outside of the podcast. And it's just again, getting different backgrounds, their stories, how they got into
even members of the public. When we do our opening seance, we have an energy building circle, should I say. I try and get our guests to open up about their paranormal experiences, and that enhances the environment. And then sometimes it makes the spirit more eager to communicate with us because they want to join in.
Yeah, they want to get involved.
They do.
Oh, definitely.
Awesome. Enwood House experience. Evening, guys. Hope you're well. Isaiah. Aloha, brother Mickey from Hawaii. Awesome. You guys want to see paranormal down here in Hawaii? There's lots of places I can show you guys.
That'd be cool.
That's cool. Evening. I love meeting new faces when people come up to us. It's so cool. Yeah, I imagine being in the location that you're in, they get lots of guests. A bit like a podcast, you get to know your regulars. You get people that have only never done it before, go for the first time, and like you say, you build up that rapport with them, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we get to meet on when we've done events. Meeting different people, different belief systems. And it's just, again, for me, it's about creating an environment where everyone can literally be themselves. If you're skeptic, it's fine. If you're coming along, all we ask is be respectful to the location, be respectful to the people around you, and just be open-minded and see what happens. And I think that's what's been great. We've made so many friends through doing our own paranormal investigations, the podcast. It's just been a great experience.
I believe everyone has a certain amount of psychic ability, and you can enhance that by being in that kind of environment, shutting the lights off and just trying to get in tune with that side of you. People sort of fight it off because they're afraid of it. But I feel that with the equipment that we use and with the confidence we try and give our guests in trying to reach out to the spirits, it enhances it, doesn't it? And it's great for them because they've felt like they've done something different, something new, and maybe even learned something.
They agree with what you said. Respect is massive for us. It definitely is, and without respect, you don't deserve it back. To be fair, in my eyes, It's 9:37. Yeah, 1937. You're in England then. Got a question. What's the difference between sleep paralysis and lucid dreams? Ooh.
Sleep paralysis. So
that's obviously when
the body can't move.
Yeah, the brain wakes up before the the body, like the physical movements, doesn't it?
And a lot of people say they feel like something's in the room with them, or like a spirit, or they have an overwhelming sense of fear. That's it, isn't it? Yeah. What's the other one?
Lucid dreams.
That's like when you're dreaming for, like it's reality, like it's real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never experienced either of those, to be fair. And I think I'm lucky because a lot of people do not like the experiences.
No.
But yeah, so how did this? What sparked your interest in the paranormal? How did you guys get into it in the first place?
So for me, it's quite funny because, like I said, Sarah did it way before me, and I think
Yeah.
I was at the stage where, I sort of took the mick a little bit. Like whenever she said she was going out on a ghost hunt, she would go with her sister. She would go with my sister. You're going to go play Ghostbusters, and it was like that sort of that was my sort of attitude to it,
Yeah.
because and then when Dan said, "Do you want to be part of it?" and initially it was just to help out with the Facebook page, and then we did an investigation at a place called Manor Farm, and we were in the old church that's in the Doomsday Book.
Yeah.
Anyway, we were just there, like quite simply, we were sitting in one of the pews and we were just doing some calling outs. And it's the most awkward thing when you're calling out in the dark to nothing. You feel, I don't know if everyone's the same, but you feel like a bit of a prat because you're like, what's going to happen? And you know, we had some equipment and we had like a cat ball, right? Just sat there, but we were sat on the pew on the right hand side. The altar was a little bit away from us, but as we were calling out, suddenly this cat ball just sort of rolled down the table. But the altar was so thick you could not move it. No wind could, you know, move anything. There was nothing going on in there, and that
Yeah.
was quite weird for me. And then it's sort of, the more I started doing it, I started relating back to things that I think I may have seen when I was younger. So I got a vivid memory of seeing my grandmother after she had passed away, like this amazing glow around her, and
Oh
she was
wow.
sat on the edge of the bed. And
Yeah.
the more I was doing investigations and the more I was talking to people, it was just like, well, now let's try and capture and see what is real. What what could have been causing the paranormal. I think the biggest thing for us is when we think something's paranormal, we have to identify, is there a root cause? Is it just you know are we in a moment where we're scared and then it creates a paranormal moment? So it's
Yeah.
all of that, but that's how it sparked it for me. But Sarah, yours is a lot different.
A lot different. I have a 21-year-old, believe it or not. And when he was about 3 months old, I used to rent a bungalow in Hedge End in Linton Road. And he must have been about, so that's 2, 3 months old. And he was in his Moses basket that was right next to me. And I
Yeah.
had my bed and then the window behind me. And it was July, about 5 in the morning. And as I was coming to, I felt like something poking me in the arm. And yeah, I believe that the mind is a powerful thing. And I did question myself over this, but it seemed so real. So I did feel like there's something poking me in the arm, and I could hear my son in his Moses basket kicking up his little covers and that, and he's right by the side of me. And as I come to, there was a woman, as clear as day, an old woman with big brown eyes looking at me like this and poking me with her finger, and then she disappeared. And I thought to myself, oh my God, someone's in the house. That was my initial thought.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I tried to wake my partner up next to me to say, oh my God, someone's in the house. And she was nowhere to be seen. And I thought to myself, that bungalow, she must have thought that I was intruding in her house. I used to keep it absolutely immaculate because I thought, I used to talk to her and say, don't do that again, please. This is still your home. And I remember the people that had rented it to me was a brother and sister. And I told them what had happened. And they said, our mother died in that house. So number one, it could have been her. And number two, I think in the Filipino culture, the ancestors do come by sometimes and let you know
Yeah.
that they're there. So I thought, oh, it could be one of two things, but it was real to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there was another, I was brought up by my stepfather, Terry, and he died. And a couple of months went by and I wasn't thinking about him or anything. And I'd gone through a particularly emotional situation anyway, but I was in bed and now this was a dream, and it was a dream, but it seemed, when you say like lucid dream, and it seems so
Yeah.
real. And he was really, a lot of people say this, he was really quite tall. And I was looking up at him and we were spinning around and around. And I said goodbye to him, but I never really felt like I got to speak to him properly, and I could hear music, and we were spinning around and around, and he was saying, I love you, Sarah. I love you, Sarah. And I woke up streaming with tears. But like, it could have been my emotional state. But to me, in that dream, like lucid dreaming, it seemed really real. I
Yeah.
think it was like a final goodbye. And they say to you in the spirit world, they say in the spirit world that that's when they can communicate with you when you're half asleep. Like I've had someone in my ear when I've been waking up. I had your Auntie Rose in my ear, and she was saying, Sarah, Sarah, and she had a real distinctive voice, Auntie Rose, didn't she?
Yeah.
And I grew up, she was my neighbour. Me and Nando have known each other years. And she was saying, I need to tell you something. But as I could hear her voice in my ear as I was in bed, I thought, oh my God, you're dead. And then I was like, oh my God, I was just really shaken by the whole thing. And I ran downstairs, didn't I? I just had your Auntie Rose in my ear. But I don't claim to be psychic or anything. God, no. I just feel like that sometimes you can be sensitive to that kind of thing.
Sarah psychic. There's your answer.
I don't know.
I think she is, because whenever I've done something wrong, she seems to know before she's actually found out. So
yeah, she's
got
knows.
some kind of ability. She knows, but
It's called woman's intuition.
okay, fair enough then. But yeah.
Well, men are just always wrong. They're always in trouble.
That is true.
Yeah, so that sparked it for me. I was hooked.
Oh, nice. Can fear itself create experiences that feel real but aren't?
Yeah,
Do you know?
I can accept that.
Do you know what? I think sometimes, if you're in that real fear factor, I think the mind's a great.
It is.
It's a great thing, and I don't think we appreciate how advanced our minds can actually be when we're in different situations. And I do believe sometimes when you're that scared about something, it creates moments where you think you're seeing stuff. Like, do you know, a lot of the times we say, oh, we think we've seen a shadow figure walk by.
Yeah.
But you already know, you're nervous because you're in a new location that you don't know nothing about. You're walking through it. Like I was saying in the green room before we come on, we were talking about Shepton Mallet.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, do you know what? It's such a big location. I want to make sure that we can get round to all of it and, film as much as we can, take pictures. And I was on C Wing and I was like, okay, everything seems to be cool. So I walk up onto the second platform and I know I was nervous, but again, I still think I may have seen something. So as I'm walking on the wing, I see this black mist come out of one of the cells. And it was there because I blink and it was still there.
Yeah,
and I think to myself, okay, is this me being really scared now because I'm on my own? Because I turn around to, that's my thing. I'll go to the person that's behind me and go, is someone here with me? Can you see this? But there was no one there. And then I go back and then two of us go back to the wing and nothing had happened at all. But as I mentioned, as I was walking away, I swear I could hear like the cell door like being moved backwards and forward, like it was sliding to close, like they were getting ready to be put back in. But again, can fear take you out of your comfort zone and create paranormal activity, which possibly it can?
It's like when we was at Derby Ghoul and we was in the cell with the chains. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And we did a bit of filming and we was calling out questions. It was me, Little Joe, I think Nikki was in there, and
Big Joe
we had Big Joe. We had a question. We were asking questions, and we heard a faint voice. I don't know if you saw the video on camera. And then we had a big
yes,
waft.
I remember. Yeah,
we caught it on camera, and we had this big waft of sulfur, and it's like, oh my gosh, we can smell that. And is it sulfur? Is it JoJo's gluten issues? So many.
So many different things.
So many different things to rule out, isn't there?
Yeah. That was a great night. That was. I'd never been Derby Jail before, and that's the first time I'd met you.
Yeah, that's the first time we got to meet you properly.
Yeah.
And again, it was great to sit with you and not actually investigate, but watch the way you do it.
Yeah.
Because everyone has their own techniques and the way they do it. And I think the important part of the field is, embracing, maybe I do something that you wouldn't do and vice versa. But this is where it gets a bit competitive, and people don't respect each other's way of doing things, but it has to be either their way or no way, and then it causes an unnecessary.
To mix it up a bit, I like the Victorian methods, like the table tipping in and the rods and all that, and I also like the more modern style, like electrical, like voice boxes and things like that. But are you all the way with all the modern stuff, Nick?
I used to be like watching Ghost Adventures, seeing the stuff on telly. For right, I got to get one of them. But then over the last, say, a couple of years, year and a half, I've really cut back on what I use. I don't really use that much anymore. Depending on where I am, obviously, if you're outside in woods or abandoned places, you can't really bring much in case people turn up or it gets damaged. It's raining, so you just take the basics, don't you? Like I take the voice recorder, spirit box, Alice box, and that's about it really. I don't take my motion sensors, anything like that, because it's difficult to put things out. But if you like rented a place and you can control the situation. Like last week, I was in Hellfire Caves just with Mark. It was just the two of us there, and so we had loads of voice recorders everywhere, cameras everywhere, equipment all over the place, like motion sensors, and it's something that you can actually use and put out and try and capture some evidence, you know. But obviously, it just depends where you are. So
Sometimes,
I'm not as much as I used to. Yeah. But
sometimes
does it make me fake though? Just because I use equipment?
No.
I think that's a very wrong way of, you know. Again, it falls down to people take face value what they see on Hey Sarah, on what they see being put on the screen. You know, people use technology in their way doesn't mean that they're faking it. You know, I think it's a wrong way of calling someone fake. The best way to be able to say this person's not genuine, go out on an investigation with them if you're brave enough. And you know, you really want to see it at, you know, real time, not on a video, no editing, raw. Then go with the person that you think are fake. You know, I think a lot of us would be happy to say, well, if you want to come and, you know, see what we do and how we do it, and then you can take your judgment from there. Now, do we know that sometimes equipment can create false positives?
Yeah.
100%. That's why if you put something out on what I tend to do when I put something on Facebook or on YouTube, TikTok, I'll say, could we have caught something here? Tell us your thoughts. I always leave it open to you know, a healthy debate, because I think if you put a claim to it, that's where people pick up and go, well, that's not real, this is this. But if I leave it as an open question, everyone's entitled to their opinion. Just be nice about it.
Sometimes if you've got a ghost box and you're like at Merley House and you're in the nursery, which you know where the children were, and you get something come through saying children or babies or crime, that there could be evidence in itself, because how would it know that you're in a nursery? Or when I'm getting my guests to use a Ouija board and they think they're communicating with somebody they know, I say to them, you know what? Why don't you take your hand off the board, and then maybe your friends do it, or do it to some of the other guests around the thing and around the board, and then ask questions, but only ask 3 questions, but only one of them is the correct one, and don't tell us, and see if it comes through. And that, I think, is a good way of like siphoning out evidence.
And the other thing is, why would you want to fake anything when you're sitting in a location for up to 6 hours? It's not, you know, and this is more for me, is on a personal level, you know, being a dad of 3 boys, I want my boys to grow up to know being honest is the best way. But if I'm putting out stuff to people saying this is real, but I know I'm faking it, I'm basically a liar, and I'm, you know, and I don't want them, you know, I don't want it to be like that. But we've been in locations where we have used the apps, and I'll give, like, Fort Whitley, underground tunnels where no signal is being picked up, not any kind of signal. And one of the chaps that was with us was using Necrophonic, and he gets a clear sentence about, he asked one question, where are we? You are in the tunnels of Fort Whitley. You know, and I know people have this thing, well, it submits data to your phone, it picks up your voices, but we didn't ask anything, but where are we? And then it gives a full sentence under the tunnels with no signal being transmitted. You know, could that be real? Could it be fake? Well, not fake, but could it be a word bank just generating words?
Is it listening?
Is it listening? But if you're not getting any signal and all your data switched off, it wouldn't be transmitting anything. So it's hard to.
Sometimes the best kind of evidence is just to sit in a room, quiet, no outside noise, and just ask a few questions, but sit in the dark and just let your senses overtake you, and see what you can hear and see, hear. You know, or even get the recorder going.
Yeah.
But I think with anything you put out, you're always going to have people that, and not necessarily into the paranormal. They're people that just want to create negativity to cause an unhealthy drama. Yeah.
Drama, clicks, clickbait,
Yeah.
and all that stuff. Yeah.
And do you know what? If people was to just be a bit more grown up with the way they, I think it's fair, question stuff all the time, but do it in a healthy way. You can ask, like, I could happily ask you, Mickey, if I see one of your videos, Mickey, do you think it could have been this by any chance? And I'm sure you would be happy to reply because it's respectful. It's when you get pulled out for, you must be fake because you're doing this, or you're doing, it doesn't mean that you're fake. You're just using what's available and testing it out and see what happens.
Nothing's 100% at the end of the day.
Of course it is. Nothing's proven, is it? So
you'll know when you're dead, won't you?
Yeah, that's when we'll find out. Hi Emma, hope you're good. Oh, I've had loads of questions. Hi Mickey, your world needs to know what product you use to get your beard so sexy. I don't put nothing on, to be fair. I did get a new comb the other day, so that's quite funny. Thank you anyway. Yeah. Try not to get involved with Ghost Adventures. Like I say, I used to watch it at the beginning. You know, I still watch the shows today just to see what they're about, what they're doing, techniques that work, what don't work, ones to avoid. You know, so I don't think there's any harm. Just don't believe 100%. Yeah, remember to keep your own written notes. Definitely, we should all do that. I think. Thanks for answering. I have a follow-up question. Have you seen cases where psychological healing reduced paranormal encounters? Ooh. That's obviously to do with all the fear and false paranormal positives that you're getting on how you're feeling. Like you say, when you're in places and you're scared.
I think there's one, for me, the one that stands out for me the most, that everyone was in a really, really, like, you feel the energy around you. Everyone's having a laugh. Everyone's in the moment where everything's really good. So there's no fear in it whatsoever. Yeah. And we were literally, at this moment, we weren't actually investigating. We were just talking about different things. And as we were talking, we were down one of the tunnels in Fort Whitley, this was, and we heard a whistle. But no one else was down in the tunnels at the time because the other team were up in the hub, which is out of the tunnels. And we heard a whistle, very clear whistle. Yeah. And I think Dan whistled back. I think it might have been Dan. Yeah, he whistled back to see if we would hear it again. And you hear his whistle traveling down the tunnel. You know, you can hear the sound going down. And then about a second later, we hear another whistle. So again, but again, when you look at it, could there be a gush of wind? And as the sound travels, sound changes as it travels. Could that have changed into a whistle? But there was no wind coming through the tunnel on that night. So I think it was a whistle. Everyone was in good spirits. And, that was a good capture, I think.
The best one.
Yeah.
The best one. We was with Penny Griffiths Morgan and we was in the nuclear bunker in
Calvin and Hatch.
Calvin, yeah.
Oh, we was right down at the bottom where the computer rooms are.
Yeah.
She was on a Ouija board. She was talking to somebody on the Ouija board, and there's a bunch of guests, and it was a real strange sensation because you wouldn't hear. When you get a music box and you open it up, it was like a nursery rhyme that's just started playing. And I said, "Is that anybody's phone?" And I think there was about 6 of us in that room, and he said no. And we all sort of escalated, like, where did this music, why would you get like a children's nursery rhyme music box going way down in these tunnels? And Penny was really, really shaking. I was shaking. Jojo, she was absolutely terrifying. She goes, I feel really eerie. I've seen like a mist forming over there, and we can all see it was quite cold down there as well. But it really did escalate into some frantic kind of, the fear factor kicked in, and we had to get out of there because we were really pretty scared. The fact that this tune come out of nowhere, we all heard it, and then we've got this eerie feeling. But also, when we do, like I said, when we do our opening seance and I get the guests to open up about their paranormal experiences and we all start having a laugh, and then suddenly something gets chucked across the room, or like somebody gets touched, it influences the environment, the happy, fun feeling as well. So it can go either way. Yeah.
Yeah. Just picking up on that point. Do you feel that people on events, how do I word this without being with events, is it more experience or evidence based that you've experienced yourselves anyway? Because from just before you answer, when I don't go there to get evidence on events, because normally, depending on the location, there might be too many people there might be not enough people, so I go there for the enjoyment of other people's company, meeting them for the first time. I don't go there thinking I'm going to try and capture this amazing evidence, because more than likely, some people have never done it before. They're hyper, they're nervous, they're excited, they laugh too much, they're giggling with their friends in the corner. What's your experiences from running your events?
So with us, we always say to all our guests, one thing we're very clear: do not think it's going to be like what you see on TV. It's nothing like that. You could be sitting in a location and you will get nothing. Ours is about, documenting if we do pick up anything, and then researching what we found. But a lot of it is, getting them, educating them about the equipment, how we tend to do investigations, and then leave them to do their own thing in a sort of way. Let them experience it for themselves and what they pick up. But we don't go in and say, tonight we're going to get the best piece of evidence going, because we know that's not going to happen. Some of the times it's more of a case of we get to meet people and enjoy their company. We met our neighbours down the road here. We only met them through, they come on an event, and then we realised they lived down the road, and now we go out with them. We go to their house, we play cards. So it's more like we get to meet a different range of people and get to know their stories about why they enjoy the paranormal. And then the investigation, when something happens, we document it. We talk about it at the end of the evening as a group discussion, what people have found. But I do it more because I enjoy the people that I get to meet. The location, the history is one of the best things about it. Getting to walk through places where real history has happened there, and that's great to be able to get into these locations. And then lastly, if you do pick up some evidence that we can't debunk ourselves, it's great because it just shows that there is something more after our life is done on Earth. And that's the way I like to think about it.
Part of it is being in a controlled environment as well. Like if I need silence from my guests so we can conduct an experiment, I'll ask them, you need to be quiet now, you need to turn your lights off, you need to try and just let us know if you smell anything or you hear anything, or if a word pops into your head. Because at the end of the night, when we do our wash up, it could be something that's relevant to the location. And I think lots of people, different people coming in and out bring different sorts of energy as well. You get some people that are highly sensitive, some people that are not, and you get the odd gigglers as well. But sometimes it's a bit quiet now. That'd be grand if you could be a bit quiet, but then it enhances the energy as well, because then the ghosts are thinking, let's get on this. We've got a bit of a giggler here. Let's chuck a stone at them, and then they all start screaming. So
I think what's good about us, we're not scared to have a laugh. Like, I know some people take it very seriously, and we do.
We do.
But at the same time, we want to show that we're just normal human beings as well. And we want to enjoy the time that we have with people. And like I said, we've got to meet great people on the investigation that we've become friends with. And that's just as important. Going out investigating but having a good time. Is just great, because sometimes people have come that have, there's a couple, the wife, she has a lot of disabilities, and to get her out and see her being able to enjoy herself is great. Having a laugh, and she's always really polite, she's always outgoing, and it's like you create a good vibe for someone.
Not every spirit as well is like a Victorian person. It could be Malcolm, some dude that died on his moped down the road, or it could be a relative of yours as well. So I think a lot of people sort of, demonic. Oh, it's always demonic. No, it's not always demonic. Yeah.
No, I've never experienced a demon ever.
No.
I don't think.
No.
So I got a message from Jason. Hello to everyone in chat. I'm Jason Finch, new here. I love listening and watching Paranormal Podcast. Welcome, Jason.
Welcome.
Yeah, nice to have that message. Thanks again. I learned a lot. But one last question: how do you separate intuition from imagination during an investigation? They're pretty similar, I would say. To be fair, depending on your mindset beforehand, I would say.
Yeah.
We had this conversation, didn't we, about how if you said, you posted it the other day, didn't you? How it escalates and how a lot of people input.
Okay, so we're talking about
They do that. A lot of people do that on an investigation anyway. So tell Mickey what you're talking.
So what I was talking about. So I like to watch a lot of things on YouTube and about the paranormal, and then I come across something that I've never heard of before: the Philip experiment. It was a bunch of university students that were doing, I think, was parapsychology, and they come up with the idea of forming like creating their own paranormal activity, basically creating their own person called Philip.
Ghost, yeah.
And basically what they did, so the first session was they sit around this table and they created a whole identity for this person that didn't exist. So they gave him a name, a state that he was from, a job that he did, when he was born, when he died. And then once they created this person, they started doing an opening seance and calling out. And then they claimed that they started getting intelligent responses for this Philip.
Yeah.
So my question was, is that a valid experiment to try, or is it power of suggestion where you've created something and in your mind that person becomes real because you've created it, and then you're starting to think that you're getting positive responses because you've created something in your head and now you're believing it?
Are they actually psychic and it's actually them speaking to them through their brain? Like when we're at Merley House, we get a little boy come through all the time called Tommy, and it happens quite regular. And then we get a woman, I can't remember her name, I think it's Mary or something like that, and she says she's the help, and that she's but it's like a typical like story, isn't it? Help gets knocked up by the rich owner of the house. And I think the only way you can really debunk something like that is if it's in history. If he did have a what's the word, a legitimate child or something like that.
Yeah.
And if 2 and 2 come together like that, then yeah, you could probably tick the box there. But yeah, it's always power of suggestion, or is it some psychic ability telling us, yeah, this is right? So you could go either way with that.
Yeah. I think you just got to be very careful about how much research you do before going into a location, because I think if you've researched it, like really researched it, and then you go in knowing names that are linked to it, are you going to start thinking that you're hearing those names when you're doing a spirit box session? Or if you're doing a calling out and then you think, oh, so that's happened but is that the mind telling you it's happening because you've researched it so much so that you know who you should be getting through? Yeah, I like that. Going in blind.
There was the one experiment that really blew my mind, Mickey, and I did message you about it, actually. It was by Ron and Laundress, the static comm series.
Yes.
And I don't know if you heard of it. I used to have a radio that would come on in the middle of the night and it would play pure white noise. And I used to have to go downstairs in the middle of the night. I've been terrified, turn it off because it used to happen all the time.
Yeah.
And that's why it really stuck with me. And what they do is they gave us an example, didn't they, at the Festival of the Unexplained, is they play pure white noise. So, when you have a spirit box, it forwards and it rewinds and it forwards and rewinds, and you get little snippets of voices come through.
Yeah.
Well, they filter pure white noise without being forwarded or rewinded, and through some sort of computer system, don't they?
Yes.
And they slow it down, and you could hear real sentences. And Ron heard his mother with an American accent through and talking to him through this static comment. I thought that was really mind-blowing. That was an amazing bit of evidence. But then I thought to myself, what if I could use my camera? And you got the slow motion bit, and film, and then you slow down the voice or you phone it. Would that be the same thing? I wish I could have some sort of app like that. If they could bottle that up, that would be a great experiment to do. But I guess you got to go over to see Ron and
see them and try and
persuade them to
part with some of their stuff.
Yeah.
So what's the scariest thing that's ever happened on one of your events or in a private investigation?
Oh.
So if it's on an event, would it be from a guest or?
So for me,
yeah.
And again, this could be the fear factor or it could be something real. So we did a location called Nuns Cross, and it's in the middle of Dartmoor. And literally no running water, no electricity in the house. It's just a shell. And it was we just did it as a team.
We had a few days. We played Cards Against Humanity. We were just chilling, wasn't we?
And we went to bed that evening, and I decided to sleep in the dining area on my own. And I hadn't been drinking, just to put out there. So I know I was cool because I was like, I'm not going to drink because we're in the middle of nowhere. So if something happens, I need to be all right. But as I was laying there, I felt like I could see this figure just running up and down the windows just outside.
Yeah.
And it was just continuous. And it was just like...
I thought you was going to say when we was with little Jojo and Sean and we were just chatting and the table just shot across the room in there.
Oh, that was another one.
That was another one.
We were around a table on the left and there was one behind us.
The table's massive.
And it's one of the big wooden tables and it just shifted on its own.
We all
so that...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I think that was one. Yeah. I'm just trying to think if there's any other ones that I've had. No, I think that would be one of the main ones for me. Like if I was say I was scared or uneased by what was going on, but it just felt. And then in the corridor, you know, again, this could be my mind, but it sounded like there was a conversation going on outside. But all the girls were asleep in the other room, and the rest of the lads were upstairs, and everyone was asleep. And I'm like, this is not the most comfortable place. Or the other one is fear factor because of the man that's just popped his name up on the screen. So we did Oxford Castle.
Oh, great place!
It is a fantastic place.
Awesome.
They got the punishment cells, haven't they?
Yeah.
And me and Dan, I don't know who come up with the idea because I've got a feeling it might be me. No, I think it might be Dan. And he was like, "Why don't me and you go and sleep in the punishment cells?" And as you go in, you got one on the left, one on the right. So we're setting up our beds, and I'm like, Dan, if we sleep in here, you're not going to go sleep straight away. And I was like, no, mate, no, we'll have a chat and everything. I'm like, okay, cool. I can deal with this now. Hey, so we set up the beds, and then I'm like, okay, lay down. Dan, you all right? Dan. Within 5 minutes, he was away with the bloody fairies. And I'm like, are we not meant to be staying up and chatting? And he literally just...
What about that Haunted Antique Museum? When there's this statue of this naked lady with her tatties out. And this would be a good idea, Dan and Nando, to lift up the encasement and rub a booby each. It says, do not touch.
That shows the maturity level.
People have touched this and have died or had something really bad happening to them. And on the way back, we nearly had a car accident.
Wow, you won't be rubbing no boobies anymore.
Don't be rubbing no boobies in the museum.
Do you know like when you're a kid and you're told you're not allowed to have a sweet, and you really want that sweet? But yeah, that was crazy because out of nowhere this big lorry just come diving at us.
We shot across, didn't we? There was a stop sign, but none of us saw that, and we all just flew across it. We were following each other.
We park up, and then Sarah gets out of the car having a go at me. Yeah. It's like she was really telling me off. But no, again, it's I would say there were the moments. And then Jojo just put up about Manor Farm. Our last investigation there. And then the next day, they literally stopped doing investigations.
Yeah.
But again, we were all sitting around these old-fashioned wooden tables. And we were doing like table
That was in the barn, wasn't it?
Yeah, in the barn. Now, these tables, you're not going to be able to move with your hands just sitting there. Even if you try and move it,
your fingers on them.
It's impossible to move because they're so sturdy and so thick and heavy. Well, anyway, I think it was Jojo. She said, can you do something to let us know you're here? And then suddenly the table just lifted onto two legs. And we're like, okay, everyone take their hands on off the table.
Yeah.
And it was still on its two legs. Yeah. And then Luke, he did a lot of the filming for us. He goes under the table, the whole table, with his camera, and the table didn't move. And then suddenly it just gently come back down.
And they all screamed.
And then there's a picture of me just sitting at the end of the table with my mouth wide open, like.
I'm so sad that they don't do them anymore at Manor Farm.
But that was a great, that was a great.
One of the best experiences. I've had 2 really good experiences there.
Yeah.
Well, terrifying, should I say. There's an old church that is 10th century that is in Manor Farm. And one of my colleagues was at the head of the church, and he was demonstrating how to use some equipment. And I was at the other end. And right in my ear, I heard, Sarah. And I ran at him like a dark horse. I was absolutely terrified because where did this voice come from? Right in my ear. So I obviously knew I ghost hunt there quite often. So it knew my name, which I found quite terrifying. And then there was this young girl. It was her first time doing a ghost hunt. And we was in the kitchen area with big fireplaces, and we were doing a Ouija board. And we got an old woman come through, and she said she liked to watch. And we asked her if we had the K2 meter there that was going from red to green with every question. And we split the team. So the boys were upstairs on the beds and the girls were downstairs with me. And we asked the spirit if they wanted to go upstairs and, show themselves to the boys. And it was like, no. And then they said, do you want us to go up there with them? And it said, yes. So we decided, and the K2 was going off at the same time. So we decided we'd go up there. And what was her name? She had all these piercings. I can't remember what her name is. I don't know. Anyway, she's this young girl. We'd like to give them Eleanor. Is it Eleanor? I think her name was Eleanor. And for the fear factor, there's a taxidermist dog in the other room next to the room where the twin beds are. And we said, we're going to put you in there and just let us know what happens. We'll put you there on your own. She's like, yeah, all right then. And then all of a sudden, a bit of time goes by and we hear this God almighty scream, and we all go pummeling in there. And on the back of her shoulder, she's got 3 scratches. And I remember speaking to my colleague and saying, this thing that was on the Ouija board didn't want to say its name. And it really would not give its name of who it was. And he said that the 3 scratches could be a sign of the father, like a mocking of the trilogy.
Yeah.
And it wanted to get us up there to do that to her specifically. And that was pretty scary.
Wow. That's crazy. So Emma's was meant to go there, but we pulled out. However, the team that did mean to go, and they got lost on the moors. That's obviously where you were talking about.
Yeah.
They could see figures in the mist. I think I was. You offered me the chance to go there, but I wasn't available many years ago. But it does sound like a great location.
Yeah.
Has anyone in chat ever heard of Andy Decode's Alien 8 UK podcast? Jason likes aliens. That's cool.
I love aliens.
There's a link with the paranormal there, but yeah. So, little quick questions. Either of you scared of the dark?
Nah, I'm out like a light.
It sort of depends on what we've been watching, because the problem I have, we can watch a scary movie, and then you have a prat that decides to be funny to try and make moments where you scare. And I'll give you an example. When The Conjuring 2 come out, we were watching it, and I thought, I want some snacks. So I went and got some nuts from the cupboard. And as I was away, someone decided to get some cotton string tied to a chair. And very calculated, she under the carpet, just sat there, and I'm there.
The back of the settee.
Yeah, and I'm there just throwing these nuts in my mouth, having a good chew, and then suddenly this chair comes flying at me.
Give it a little rattle first, so you.
And she had to literally pound my back because I've got a load of nuts stuck in my throat.
Oh
no! So when we watch scary stuff, it is like, it depends on how I get treated at home. She could be a bit cruel. She could be a bit cruel, can't
we? Believers, non-believers?
I want to. I don't want to think that when you're dead, but I want to have more experiences.
Yeah, but you saw the person poking you.
Yeah, but then I think to myself, is that just my mind? But it seems real. Yeah. It seems so real. Yeah. And I want to believe that it was real.
I'm on more now the believing side.
I say to believe, but
I think
I'm thirsty for more. Yeah.
I don't think everyone's claim can be fake. It could be spoken about. There's some stories that you hear that not even by listening to it, you can hear how real it is to them. And stuff that I've experienced myself, it's like, for example, and this is so real, I remembered it afterwards, even though I was in and out of consciousness. I had a blood clot, and they couldn't keep me in hospital because of risk of infection. So they sent me home with a load of medication, injections. Anyway, I was sat on the sofa and Sarah had just given me my medication and I was in and out. And then suddenly I said to Sarah, like, my eyes closed. I was like, Sarah, don't worry. My nonno said that everything was going to be okay.
That's it. I'm getting
and that's and that's nonno's grandfather in Italian.
Okay.
But even when I come to, I can vividly remember him standing, like, instead of Sarah being sat next to me, he was sat next to me in this house, which he had been long passed away before we even moved into this house.
The operation, you saw your auntie in the garden, didn't you? They're always in the garden.
Yeah, a garden.
Maybe heaven is a garden.
But in all fairness, my auntie spent 90% of her time in a garden.
If you ask people that have near-death experiences, some people have said that their experiences is in a beautiful garden.
Yeah.
But I generally do believe, I think what creates the divide is sometimes how things are portrayed on TV and negativity in the field. You do have people that say you're stupid for believing in the paranormal. This everyone's experience is valid. If they feel they've had an experience, they're entitled to that, and no one has the entitlement to degrade them for what they believe. It's a belief system. So
and
that's my.
That when you die, the energy can't just disappear. Energy transfers into everything. Or transfers into something. I'd like to think that reincarnation is an option as well, because it'd be great just to start all over again. It's like, how many people are in this glass of water? When you die, you go into the earth, don't you? You don't. I feel like you're everywhere. You can be anywhere and everywhere.
What about you, Mickey? Do you believe or you're a non-believer? Where do you sit on it?
As with our chat, before we come on there tonight, I was always 100% believer. But I don't know, maybe it's like I said, my passion's going. Maybe it's and my belief system is going, because I've been in the past, I've been doing this for 18 years. I've been touched. I've seen so many spirits. I've had things move in front of me. I've had amazing captures on spirit boxes, other bits of equipment, voice recorders, that it's just not possible for there not to be anything. You read the accounts of people that maybe have passed away in a hospital and they've been revived and they've come back and they talk about their experiences. So I think I'm still a believer, but I've recently dropped maybe 5%. So.
And would you say that your belief system has changed because of the state of the paranormal field and the way things are? Like, people are starting to become more afraid of sharing their experiences, sharing what they believe that they've captured because of how negative it is out there now?
It could have something to do with that. Yeah, there's a lot of bullying going on at the moment, with people expressing opinions on what they think their video is, their evidence, what they've captured, how they get evidence, how long they've been doing this. It's everybody seems to be judged and criticized at the moment, and it's bullshit, really, in my eyes. If you enjoy it, do it. If you believe in what you're doing is right, then that's all that matters in my eyes. You might investigate different to me. Like we said earlier, I'm not going to say, oh, you're stupid or you're fake because you don't do it how I do it or how I believe it should be done.
No.
There's no one's ever proved the existence of ghosts or spirits. There's no baseline level for it. So how can anybody be an expert or judge, what we capture? So, it is what it is.
There's one way I feel really spiritual on this planet, and that is like I'm a baker, so I get up really early in the morning. And sometimes when I'm going on that motorway and I see the sun break and see the sunrise, or I'm out walking the dog early in the morning and I see the sun, the sea, and I'm thinking, what a beautiful planet. This is something so amazing. There's got to be more to this. There's got to be more to this life.
Exactly.
That's spiritual.
Yeah. Is there I don't know if you can answer this, knowing that obviously you do events, but you can if you want. Is there locations that you believe are overhyped, you don't want to go to, or you wouldn't go to? Now, I know this could put you in a bit of trouble. Oh, I hate that location, and then you end up having the opportunity to go there, and you say, "Oh shit, I shouldn't have said that." So
I think I can answer that respectfully.
Yeah.
I think I can answer that being respectful to the location. So, I think one of the most famous locations in the UK is 30 East Drive. That has been hyped about so much.
Oh yeah.
There's been so much and let's be honest, when I first become aware of 30 East Drive was through Most Haunted.
Yeah.
When they did the experiment there, and then suddenly Carl gets yanked up the stairs and all this. And
knife in the pocket, yeah.
Yeah, and when you see a location like that that's hyped up so much about the activity, everything that's going on. Mm-hmm. Now, we investigated 30 East Drive, and I was buzzing for it. I was like, if this could be the location where you get that grade A EVP, or that moment on camera of so like the grandfather clock falling down the stairs, things like that, I would love to see it. When you go into the property, it's like you are transformed back into that era because of the way they left the decorating. So automatically your brain is sort of shifting in time in a way, because you're being transported into a time where that's the decor. You do feel a sense of eeriness within the property, like something's just not right there. But is it as haunted as what people hype it to be? I personally don't think so. But then again, that's what I believe. I'm not saying that I'm right, and I don't take away from other people what they've picked up. But when we did our experiment there, when we did the investigation there, we picked up very little things. But for a place to be that active with poltergeist activity, the father allegedly passed away in the bathroom, everyone seems to get something in there. And then when we went in there, it was very but would I be open to go back there again? Yeah. I've come up with the idea, would it be good for just one person to go in there and investigate and see? But then I think the fear factor would kick in, and then do you create false positives yourself because of the way
100%.
You think?
Yeah.
But I just think that property, is investigated so much as well. It's used as an Airbnb. It's used consistently, and it's just like you can't really determine what is there and what isn't because of how much it's used. So it's a difficult one. But I think that's my one. What's your one?
Ed and Lorraine Warren cracked it. The 28-day theory, I feel like, is a real thing. It's like, if you're going to work every day, the stone tape theory, why would you go to work at night? If you work in the day, you could see a spirit. Like at Sainsbury's, we had something tugging the back of our aprons all the time when I used to work at Sainsbury's. I mean, it could be a former employee. I think that things are active at certain times within a 28-day period. Or like, it's not just because you go there once and you've had no activity doesn't mean you're going to go there again and not have anything. Sometimes it's really kicking off in some places, and then you go back another time and zero things happen. It's like you were saying about what's it called? Flipping heck. Sorry, I've been up since 4:30.
The one I just
talked about.
30
East Drive. I think Joe's there. The dad that died. Maybe the poltergeist isn't there anymore, but Joe, I feel that he's there. He died in the bathroom. Yeah, definitely.
Well, when I've been there about 4 times. So Emma, the last time we were there, the furniture wasn't even original at East Drive. Yeah, they probably just make it look good and dated, so that for the whole feel. Yeah. Anyway, when I was there, we had The only real thing that we had at East Drive was we were in the parents' bedroom. We were having the spirit box. It's just me and someone else there, and wasn't really getting anything. This was the first time we went the week after Most Haunted did their famous live, so we were so hyped, like you say, to go there, and all we got was on a spirit box, a little girl voice. It said "M's in bathroom," like with a local accent.
That's brilliant.
And obviously, there isn't a child called Emma or Emily, but the next door neighbour, Carol, who throws marbles, allegedly, she when she does her talk at the beginning, she would talk about another spirit that comes to visit called, I think it's Emily, to be fair. So that's all we got really, and I think that is quite cool. There was accent. I mean, why would you have that on Spirit Box for a start?
Yeah.
It's a bit strange, but
And that could be an attachment to a toy in there or something.
exactly,
like that.
yeah. Because they were, like you say, if they're getting different furniture in, they're getting it from antique shops, old places, car boots. So who knows what has come with that? So,
but I think with anything that we say, you know, it's a difference of opinions. You know, everyone's going to have their own opinion, and this thing, people are so scared to give their opinions because people are going to take it the wrong way. It's not that we're degrading anything. We're saying it definitely isn't. We just base it on our own experience, and that's with anything in life.
Yeah.
You know, you can only go in what you believe based on what you've experienced, and if you don't feel is as hyped as what other people are, that you can only be honest. I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, it's really haunted because everyone else is doing it. I want to be original by saying this is what I feel. But like you said, you picked up a voice, you picked up a name, which is great.
Yeah.
You know, I just think it just depends on everyone else. It's an opinion-based industry or field, and it's not saying that anyone's doing anything wrong. It's just let's have an open discussion. And I think we did a podcast about a TV show, The Girls That Grave the Ghost.
Yeah.
And we researched the location, you know, and from the haunting, the amount of the value of the house that it went up because of the haunting, you know, we were just discussing it. Could it have been real? Could it have been faked? You know, and it's just an open discussion about what our opinions are on certain things. And I think if we can do more of that, it would be such a great feel just to be able to. It's like I would love to do a podcast. I'll be honest. I would love to do a podcast with people like Emily Paranormal, yourself, and just have an open table where we discuss what we really feel and our opinions about the paranormal. But I know a lot of people would be off that because some people are just worried about giving their opinion. But I don't think we should be worried anymore. We should be able to express ourselves.
Set it up.
Well, there we go. And that's my next podcast. Then we're going to do an open table. But I just think it would be just so good to have difference of opinions and just show people that, do you know what? I may not agree with Mickey, but afterwards we could still be friends and say, do you want to meet up and go for an investigation? Or, you know, it doesn't need to turn into this, well, because you didn't agree with me, I think you're a complete
Visuals can be controversial, but then it can be really effective. You don't know.
Everything.
Some of the information that comes through is like, they didn't know that. I
think it'll be a great podcast. Like, if you can get a good group of people, and then maybe once a month where we just do a podcast based on the field, what's been going on, and have an honest and open conversation about what people want to bring to the table. I think it'll be a great podcast to do. And that would be something that I would love to see. You know, I would love to do that with people that would be willing to be open-minded and accept, you know, we can even do it as, okay, one day I'll bring past evidence and we can criticize my evidence, for example, not criticize, but discuss. What do you think this is? What do you think that is? We can do the same. And I think people really enjoy something like that.
It's dust.
Yeah, if it's dust, it's dust. But then I could still go away and be like, do you know what? I've had it. You've been in the field for 18 years. Of course, I'm going to accept what you've got to say because you've been doing this a lot longer. So you could educate me, you know, on what I may not know. I think that's where we need to go with like the paranormal field is, you know, show that we can do things from different backgrounds without it turning into a heated debate and unnecessary drama.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So Paranormal Twins, great vibe tonight. One of our favorite episodes. what the paranormal is all about. Like-minded people having a laugh and enjoying themselves. Exactly. That's what we want. Little stank. The cemetery gives me the spooks. Yeah, some cemeteries are creepy. Tracy, I'm a believer and think our own experiences tell us there's something in the afterlife. Don't listen to others. It's your own experience.
That's lovely.
Exactly, Tracy. I've done that one. So, ghosts and aliens are the same thing to me. There's a possibility. There are theories that people think that aliens are in fact spirits that can change shape, change into people, creatures, whatever. We don't know. Again, something we don't really know about.
I
don't think we're ever going to fully know everything about the paranormal. You know, there's just so many depths and so many avenues you can take, and it's just learning from others as well.
My mum saw a UFO, 2015
So did mine.
in Yorkshire.
Oh, wow.
And she says I could literally touch it. She says it was like a flying saucer with all these lights on. I goes, oh, don't worry, Mum, it's not after your eggs. You're too old. I says, but are you sure you didn't have too much vino? And she's like, no, honestly, me and my husband both saw it, and we ran. It was hovering over our house.
Even to this day,
it's quite hot for UFOs, isn't it? The Yorkshire Dales.
Yeah.
And she absolutely cacked it around inside. It's
but even to this day, you know, she is very clear with what
she swears,
and her story has never changed. It's never changed. So
I believe in UFOs.
But, you know, again, if someone's experience, they believe they've had it, then, you know, they've had it. In my opinion, they've had it.
I'd love to see
You know, I just think it's great to listen to different people's stories as well.
Yeah, my mum's one was, it was the early 60s, and she was, I think she was about 10, something like that, teenager. And it was after school, like, you know, you have your dinner. In the old days, you play out until the lights came on, the street lights.
Yeah.
But she was outside the house with her friend, her neighbour, and she said she looked up and there was a flying saucer above the house.
Wow.
And like there was other kids around that would see it like down the street and that, and they all went in and told their mums and that, you know, told my nan, and so, oh, don't be stupid, it's a load of rubbish. And then the next day it was in the newspaper.
Wow.
And it's like crazy. I'd love to see a UFO flying saucer. I mean, you see so many videos nowadays, things falling from the sky. Even NASA, when they do the live link on the moon, you see ships moving about or objects, and then they turn it off. And it's like, nope, we can't show them that. But
there was a lot going on last year, wasn't there?
Yes,
in January last year.
Spheres and blue balls and that. Yeah.
And that what happened in LA that they covered up? One trotting down the avenue or something.
Oh, Miami.
Yeah, they were landing in
Miami. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they had the whole police force there, didn't they? But they said it. They said it for something else. It's like rubbish. That's an alien.
In the back garden. That'd be so cool, wouldn't it?
That is cool.
It would be. So, have you ever lived in a haunted house? Apart from obviously seeing various relatives, I mean, like that weren't possibly in visitation to yourselves.
So when I lived at home with my family, we lived in a 4-bedroom house. And no, it wasn't. It was in Spruce Drive in Thornhill. And you know, it was a very modern house. You didn't know any history, you know. And my mum and my stepdad, they come down one morning and they were questioning all of us older kids. So I'm the oldest out of 6 siblings.
Yeah.
And they were like, were you walking around the house? No. Did you bring your brother into our bedroom? No. And my mum and my stepdad vividly remember, like, they see a figure walking my little sister, walking her into the bedroom. And, you know, they couldn't work out who it was. And then again, things started happening, like the TV, we'll be downstairs and then the TV was switching on. But it was like it was the days where you only had like a remote control and you had to press the big old buttons to change each channel.
Yeah.
And remember, it made a clicking noise every time it switched, like near that. And the TV just kept turning on and the channels kept turning. And then the other one is it was myself and my brother. We shared a room. This big, tall figure just standing in the door arch, like the doorway, just staring at us, like this big figure. And there were so many different things that were happening in the house that we were all experiencing.
Yeah.
I would say that was be the one that I can remember.
When I was 21, I lived in Woolston, and opposite a place called Thornycross, and it was just a 1-bedroom flat. And my sister was in the main bedroom, and I'd had the pull-out bed in the living room, and it was a really old flat. And I remember I was just laying there on the bed, and I felt like something small, like a small child, got on the end of the bed and started making its way up onto my stomach, and I could feel the weight of it, like sort of army shuffling that up my legs up to my body. And I tell you what, I jumped out of bed, I ripped the duvet up, I said a few choice words that ended in off. And I said, if you're a ghost, go and haunt one of them 4-bedroom mansions up the road, not a poxy 1-bedroom flat. Go on, piss off out of it. And that was it. Never heard anything again.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they say you just got to tell them straight.
But then, I think, like, living here now, we've had experiences where I wouldn't necessarily say the house is haunted, but we've had spirits that have come. Like my grandfather, he used to smoke to pick a specific tobacco, old Auburn tobacco.
Yeah.
And he used to use the licorice paper. And every so often, I can walk through the house and I can smell like he's been in the house smoking. Or you get the smell of freshly made espresso. He always used to have espresso, and sometimes you can just smell like. So you get the sense that there's people here, and that's why I believe, because it's not saying that it's about evidence I've got. It's those small little subtle things that I think there's people here watching me, and to smell the tobacco that he used to smoke, which none of us smoke now. We don't smoke at all. You know, you get the waft of that. The coffee and everything.
When we lived in Eastleigh, and Reese, our eldest son, was waking up because he kept saying that something was punching him in the stomach. I'd put a crucifix in his bedroom in the end.
Oh, wow.
And tell it to get out of the house. I had to go through every room, tell it to get out. And Gino would come downstairs. He was only about 4 or 5, something. And he would say, it keeps saying my name, Mummy. It keeps saying my name. It won't leave me alone. So I had to go around the whole house and tell it to get out. And they would have little drops of water just land on us every so often, whether it was the winter, whether it was summer, these little drops. And I think that was like some sort of ectoplasm, just to, okay, you think I'm crazy, but it would happen. It was so random, wasn't it? All these drops of water just land on us.
But yeah, I think over the years, we've both experienced stuff like on a personal level that makes us, and that's where I think I'm more torn to being a believer is my own personal stuff that I've experienced myself. But it's not like some people that say that their chairs are lifting up in the air and things like that. Mine are very subtle.
3 knots on the wall. Do you remember
certain things, but I think that's family always being around us, because we both come from quite big families. And you know, with my family, we were always very close. Like my auntie was like a second mum to Sarah. She was always with my auntie.
I was 7, I think.
And she had a love for the both of us, very strong up from, you know, even to the day she passed away.
And that's when I thought that I heard her in my ear when I was laid in bed, just drifting off, but I was just coming to, and I could hear her like a telephone in my ear, and the distinctive voices.
Yeah.
I thought, oh my gosh, I've just had your eye. I come running downstairs, didn't I?
And I'll be honest, the last thing she said to me, and this is no word of a lie, Mickey, she was put into a hospice and she was getting like palliative care.
Yeah.
And it was the day before she passed away. She was like, Nando, come here. Or maybe the day before that. She was like, come here. And I was like, what do you need? Like, you know, trying to help out. And I go to her and she gets into me and she goes, when I die, I'm going to come back and fucking haunt you.
She had such a sense of humor.
But that was the personality she had. She lived her life, and you know, she was a fantastic person, a fantastic woman. But then, do you know what? I don't believe she's come back to haunt me, but she's definitely come back to let me know that she's still here. But when I was really ill, you know,
you sat in the garden,
you know, I was sat in the garden, and it was the garden that, because I lived with her for a period of time as well, and we were sat in her garden where I could see the flower arch that she had, the apple tree in the corner. We were sat physically in her garden, and I woke up, and the first thing I said My auntie was just here.
I worked
You
in
know,
Abbey House nursing home, and this old guy, he died, and they brought him back. And I said, "You're all right, Phil?" His name was. He says, "No, I'm not all right. I died. I was quite happy, sat in that garden with my wife, and now I'm back here."
you know, it's
Wow.
no, I do believe in all that stuff. But yeah.
Cool. Evening, Jenny. Hope you're good. Sean, back in 2000 when I lived in Lincolnshire, I watched the light come across the sky. That stopped for 5 minutes, then shot off in a different direction. I can't debunk that. Yeah, that's obviously we're talking about the UFOs and that.
Yes. So I lived in a place called Mablethorpe years ago, and I was 16, and I was coming back from a nightclub called Zebedee's, and I was quite naughty. So my parents didn't know that I was at this nightclub, and I was walking down the street about 12 o'clock at night, and the sky just lit up like it wasn't thunder or anything like that. It just lit up like it was daylight, and then went back dark again. And I thought, oh, that was weird. And my Uncle John said that he saw these things just zooming around, like bright lights and things like that, just darting off here, there, and everywhere. And that was in Lincolnshire as well. It's quite active for the UFOs, I feel.
Yeah, I think we're seeing them more and more now. It's just it will soon become the norm. I think, oh yeah, there's an alien. Oh yeah, hello. You know? yeah. You're a bit early tonight, you know. So I've got a couple of questions left, if that's all good for you guys.
Yeah, that's good.
Bucket list location that you'd love to investigate anywhere in the world for yourselves, not for the events team. Where would you go? On the spot.
Do you know one place that I would love to go to? We're actually going there in May.
Okay.
We're going to Pompeii for the day. We're doing a day trip to Pompeii.
Oh, wow.
And you know, and is it how do you pronounce the one before it? Herculaneum. You know, I would love to investigate the preserves there and see if anything comes through. I think that would be a great place to investigate because of what happened with Mount Vesuvius, you know, destroying the villages, you know, and see if anything was to come through. But other locations, what would I love to?
I've never had that one told to me before. That's quite an intriguing one.
You think about the history it dates back to and the stuff that they've been able to preserve. You know, we say sometimes when you're looking at when you go to an old like Oxford Castle and things like that, they got a lot of like the old history stuff there. And we could say that things are linked to it because of its history. Imagine stuff's been preserved in Pompeii, where from the day that it happened, they've just preserved it all. It's not been touched, you know, and it's just looked after. Imagine the kind of things that we could potentially get linked to it and see what comes through. And what I would find fascinating is, you know, we being in England, we get everything responding in English. Wouldn't it be great if you did a spirit box and then it's suddenly you're getting an Italian voice speaking in Italian to you or in a different language, you know, and that would be like, well, that would be quite cool, you know, take a translator with you. But that would be my bucket list to investigate. I would love to do that.
When we went to New York, I treated you to the Gangster Museum, didn't I? Unfortunately, it's not there anymore. And it was an old speakeasy. And what's his name?
Al Capone.
Al Capone did all his dodgy dealings there. And
the
underground bit that led down to the river so we can make a quick exit. There was bullet holes in the wall. Dynamite that was meant to be fixed into the wall with the stake.
When they got raided.
And it was the barman.
And then the barman there, before he became famous, was Frank Sinatra. He used to work the bar there.
Can you imagine all the dodgy dealings there? They had Tommy guns there, face masks. They had like how they made all the moonshine and stuff like that. They had some really good artifacts there, and I feel like I was vibing off of everything in that museum, and I'm thinking, I bet there's some stories to be told here.
And the bar itself was the original bar from that era. You know,
wow.
And then when the lady turned around and said, "Do you know who used to work this bar?" And we were like, "Who?" Frank Sinatra. And I'm like, "Do you know that's a really good one? I didn't even think about mentioning that."
Put your fingers over the bullet holes where you could just imagine them doing their dodgy dealings and just banging off.
Yeah, no, that's
killing each other.
A great one.
Yeah,
I didn't think about bringing that one up.
I don't think it's there anymore.
I think the building's still there.
Is it?
Yeah, but it's just not a museum anymore. But the pub's still there.
Yeah.
So you can go into the pub still.
Well, the energy would still be there potentially.
Yeah, would be.
And you think about the people that, you know, I like that sort of thing, like the gangsters,
Yeah.
and to go and investigate someone as evil as Al Capone was at the time, you know, and a legend like, you know, Frank Sinatra, that would be great. Can you imagine getting their voices come through a spirit box or just something? That would be amazing. That's a great location. That would be great. But yeah.
That's awesome. I love those. When you're getting your asses to Ireland. I've been Dublin the last few years, so
I think Ireland's got some
original Guinness Factory would be called do a ghost hunt, wouldn't it? Can you imagine that?
We'll go to the Guinness Factory. We won't be walking out. We'll be crawling out.
You won't be ghost hunting there.
No. We'll be sleeping. It'll be like, no, drinks got to us. But do you know, there's so many great places that, you know, we would love to go to. You know, like Ireland, very beautiful place, very picturesque. And, you know, it's got a lot of history. Scotland, you know.
I love Scotland, yeah.
You know, there's so many places that you would love to go to. You know, and eventually I would love like my boys to grow up and they want to get involved, that we can do like a family trip and go and do things together. But I don't think, especially Rocco, he's a no-go with it. Yeah. But no, there's so many places that, you know, I would love to investigate. What about you, Mickey?
I had a couple. Island of the Dolls in Mexico, because I love my haunted dolls.
Yeah.
The Enfield House, just to see what it would be like, you know. And probably Waverly Hills Asylum in America, I think. That'd be quite good. Just because, like I say, I like watching the TV shows. I like seeing the locations, and if it's a good location, then I want to go there. Like, you know, I don't care if TV you've been there. Don't bother me.
No. Do you know what? A location shouldn't be based on what the TV show has done. It should be based on the beauty of that location, and that's
exactly, and the history.
You know, the history.
Love an old hotel or like a really old mansion.
Yeah, that'd be good. You know, but no, I think every location has its own quirks and everything, and I think you go in there for the location, not based on anything that you've seen, and just base it on your own experience and what you feel. But yeah, loads of places.
It's loaded with all the original fixtures and fittings as well. You definitely get a feeling, because it's all sort of I feel that things are attached to it as well, memories and things like that.
Yeah, definitely. Janice and I'll book a tour of Guinness and climb Hellfire Club Hill. Yeah, scariest place I've ever been to, Hellfire Club.
Really?
Or horrible place. Amazing. Yeah, the vibe is just, it feels like evil is there, like seeping through your no. I've been there twice. It's awesome.
It sounds so. But then we should all do one together then. We should pick a location that we've never been to before and then just go and have a good time.
Mr. Crowley's got one that he did all his conjuring up in Scotland, and I think he's pure evil, so I think that would be a great location as well.
Yeah. Worth a shout. Scotland is fab, but we're biased. Yeah, I love Scotland. Investigated loads in Scotland. My family is Scottish, a bit further down the line.
See, the only thing I would ask about when it comes to Scotland, this is one that I've always been fascinated with, and maybe if these guys are from Scotland, the Loch Ness Monster, real?
Oh yeah, real? I used to be obsessed when I was a kid.
Do you know what? I've seen so many programs on it. I've seen so many talks on it, and it's so divided. But you know, do you believe it's the Loch Ness Monster? Is it real or is it just a story?
I think it could be real. The sheer depth of the water. I mean, maybe you'd see it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know,
and that would be a cool place to go investigate, not for the paranormal, just to see if we can uncover the Loch Ness Monster. That would be amazing.
You'd have to be a bonny wee boy, though.
Yeah.
And practice rolling your R's. Yes, Robert Mondekniktikin.
Okay. So anyway, yeah, I can't do that. But no, that would be a good thing to do.
Yeah. Right. So my aunt's uncle was involved in a bank robbery. They were caught trying to tunnel into the bank. Wow, that's like obviously
That's
to
cool.
do with your gangster place that you went to, the
Yeah.
museum.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
That
Proper
would be
history
cool.
again. Maybe not the best
Yes.
history, but you know. Ruben, Japan would be an amazing country to investigate, but with their interest in the paranormal stuff. Yeah, I did check out to go to the suicide forest. Obviously not to film any dead bodies, but just the energy, the
Just
pure
to see
energy
what the
that's
energy's
there.
like.
Yeah, but the flights are very expensive, so we didn't go in the end. So, but who knows? One day.
One day.
Get on Skyscanner.
Yeah. Winchester House. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Winchester Mystery House, crazy that place. There's so many underwater cave unexplored. Yeah, exactly. In Loch Ness, so many places. Who knows?
There's so many cool things that we could do. You know, it's just like, you know, but yeah, it'll be great. Definitely would love to travel like further afield, like Scotland, Ireland.
Yeah.
You know, do all those sort of things. I think that would be amazing. Yeah, do you know what? It's a shame when we were at the Gangster Museum, we didn't ask to go back after hours and doing a bit of an investigation.
Yeah.
That would have been a great one.
Never know. I could have done it for you.
Yeah.
Absolutely real, but you'd be daft to say you don't believe in Scotland. Yeah. So my last question for you guys, if you could get rid of something in the paranormal, anything at all, location, equipment, attitude, teams, people, TV shows, anything that really gets on your nerves that you'd be happy with it gone tomorrow, and you'd never see it again, what would it be?
Ego.
Yeah.
I think, to be honest, if you answer that sensibly, the best thing to get rid of is the ego, the negativity, and you know, and it's just a pure, as the only way you can really put it is the bullying that comes with it all. You know, it's a field that for everyone to enjoy. Everyone has a place.
It stops being fun, it's not.
And the reason, like when you're watching something, the reason that they have a scroll on button is if you don't like something, just move on from it. You know, there's, you know, and again, everyone has a right to their opinion, but do it respectfully. But when you're taking away the opinion and then you're being personal about someone's appearance, body shaming, you know, making it too bad, you're losing the actual aim of the goal. We're all just trying to investigate a field to see what is real and what we can uncover.
And there's a big difference between real mediums and fake mediums. There's some out there that really just thrive on money. I think if you've got a gift, you don't have to charge loads of money for it. And then there's some that, what's that one that you watch?
Well, you've got to be very careful.
He's really pushy, isn't he? Like, drop man.
Well,
really pushy.
When you go on TikTok now, everyone on TikTok is a psychic medium.
Yeah. And they're doing readings and that,
And the thing is, my bugbear with that, you got to be so careful because people have lost relatives that are finding it difficult, and
it's cruel
to give them a false hope, or you know, knowing that you're just in it for the money. That's so bad.
When a medium's real, because they say something that only you would know.
Yeah.
That's the basic.
Yeah, but for me, the big thing is just taking away all the negativity and just
bullshit. That's what you want to say, isn't it? Sorry, a bit Tourette's there, but you want to take away all the bullshit.
Yeah.
And just everyone enjoy it and just be you. Do what you do.
Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane.
Yeah. If you can't get on with other people, stay in your lane. Let them do what they're doing. You do what you do, and then just move on from it. Don't create.
This is my evidence. I put it out there. If you don't believe it, then just
that's fine.
Flick.
But just be respectful. That's what you have to do, and that's what we need to teach the younger generation about how to be respectful. And if we can't do it as adults, that's why kids are going through hard times. And and I am very passionate about this one. You know, we need to set an example to show how things on social media can be good. It's not about people battling others and calling people names and this back and forth. You can have a healthy place for people to just enjoy.
Some real instrumental music behind that speech there, like a Superman, like Star Wars kind.
It's true, but it is true. I know it's deep. I know it's deep, but at the end of the day, we can be in a field where everyone can get on. If you don't particularly like someone or you don't agree with what they do, just move on, move away from it. Don't create a field where it turns into a battle.
He's gone full on William Wallace over here.
Why not?
Where's my kilt? Where's my kilt? I need my kilt now. But no, that's what I would remove anyway.
That sounds good. So how can people get in contact with you guys, social media wise?
Well, we're on all the normal platforms. So Portal to the Paranormal, Facebook, YouTube.
We've got a website
TikTok.
to book your events as well.
If you want to come and experience an event with us, Portal to the Paranormal.co.uk. The Lost in Time house in.
No, it's not. We've got another one for.
We're man that's booked out.
Is it booked out? Oh,
it's booked.
Good one.
But yeah, if you want to come and enjoy, we don't do anything, different to others. We just want everyone that comes with us to have a good time.
And our guests experience choosing the equipment and exploring their own psyche, don't they?
And the most important thing, everyone's welcome. If you believe or not, you want to test the waters, come along, see what you think.
Don't you love getting a skeptic and then they come out a believer?
Yeah. When you have someone, just briefly, we had someone in the tunnels, didn't we, in Fort Whitley? He come with his missus and his mother-in-law, and we were walking down. He was like, "Don't believe in it. I just come to keep them happy." And he got a full-on message from his dad, and he was absolutely gobsmacked. And he come to us at the end of the evening, and he was like, "I can't wait to come on the next one with you." And he said, "And that's what we're there for. We're not there to create all this money, we just charge for what the locations cover the cost of the location, and so that, and also to help put towards more locations. But our main aim is to show people that one is a field that everyone can enjoy. It's unique. It is a great field, and you get to meet really great people. And two, if we pick up evidence, you go away believing what you believe. We accept anyone as long as you're respectful. That's all we care about. It can be scary. And it can be fun. Yeah, it can be fun. All of it. But yeah. And then we do our podcast, PTTP Paranormal Uncut. We tend to do either Friday or Saturdays, where we just speak to investigators, mediums. We've got some great evidence in the Hovercraft Museum. Are you going to show that evidence at some point? Yeah. Actually, I'll send you a picture afterwards, Mickey, and you can tell me your thoughts on a full-on MFG, mother and ghost. It was just full-on MFG. That wasn't it? And do you know what? I will send that to you, and you can give me your opinion of what you think. Because there's two different photos, and and again, you tell us what you think. But no, like I said, we speak to people across the world about their experience and, how they got into the paranormal. So if you want to come and watch us, feel free to. And again, all you need to do is be respectful. And, if you've got an opinion, put them in the chat. We always encourage people to tell us what they think or if they've got any questions, and we're happy to answer it. But it's all about having fun. That's all we want to create. It's a bit of fun and a safe space for people to kick back a little bit and listen to us. Psychic ability. Yeah, listen to us one of it.
What platform is your podcast on?
So the podcast is on YouTube and Facebook.
Okay, cool.
So
is that a live one or is it pre-recorded?
So we do it live. The reason I like doing it live is because I love to interact in the moment with people that are watching. So you get the questions there and then you can answer it on the spot. So then you can't, and I want our viewers to feel that they're involved as well, that they're part of the podcast. It's not just about me or Sarah as the host and the guest. It's about all of us collectively are enjoying the moment. And, I always ensure that I make time to answer the questions in the chat because I want everyone to feel part of this great podcast that we do. I feel it's great. I feel the people that I get to talk to are great. And I want the viewers to feel it's great and enjoy it as well. I like to concentrate on the guests more. I like to it's brains. I love it. Yeah. But that's what we like to do. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. So thank you very much, guys, for joining me this evening.
Thanks for having us on.
It's been a pleasure. Until the next time, we'll see you in a bit.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. See you later, guys. Bye. So I've got the last comment from Tracy. Thank you, Mickey. This was awesome. Thank you, Sarah and Nando, for sharing your stories. You both are absolutely lovely. Love from Oz. Thank you, Tracy. Awesome as ever. So there you go, guys. Why don't you go and watch the podcast every Friday or Saturday? Facebook, YouTube. Go book an event. Go and see these guys in action. You'll be pleasantly surprised, as I am. They're great guys. They're very professional. And like I say, it's all about respect. So yeah, that's all you need to know. So thanks, guys, for watching. Like I said, it's been a while. I have another guest next week. We have Fiona Dodwell, who is an author and has done many books on haunted objects, haunted dolls, and I'm actually in her book, so we'll be discussing that next week. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m, my Hellfire Caves video is out. Mickey York Ghost Hunter YouTube channel. Please come and join us for the premiere. It'd be great to have you guys along. We can chat in the comments. Thank you, Ruben. Thank you, Gayla. So yes, guys, that's all I've got to say. Thank you very much. Please subscribe, share, tell your friends, and I'll see you next Tuesday, 7:30 with Fiona. See you later, guys.